Welcome to the morning after CFFL edition week 10 here as we close in on a playoff season, getting ready to talk about the week that was and taking a look at the playoff picture. Let's get right into the action, see what happened this week. This week we saw the Horn Dogs win their fourth straight as they finally get to 500 this year as they take down the Little Big Men 75-30. That was also the Little Big Men's fourth straight loss. Martavis Bryant had 15.5 points for Team LBM. The rest of the team really did not have a good week. Landry Jones' early injury did hurt him there. Antonio Brown and Sharkandrick West combined for 41 points as the Horn Dogs get to 500. The Bone Storm edge the Kong 67-58.5. Eli Manning 16.5 points paced the Bone Storm. The Kongs are on their last legs, it looks like. Going to have to really play well these last 3 weeks. Brandon Cooks had 17 points, but they fall to 4-6. Badgers and the Bruisers were in a nail-biter last night. The Bruisers took them down 43.5-43. Bruisers had no players in double figures, yet they still win. Badgers were led by Derek Carr's 15.5 points. Team Kent's, the Bucks, fell. They moved to 3-7 and probably out of the playoffs at this point. They fall to Team Price is Right 80-39. Team Price is Right had their fourth straight win. They were led by Adrian Peterson and Michael Floyd's 37 points combined. They're one of the hotter teams right now in the league. Blake Bortles for the Bucks had 12.5, but they definitely do miss Le'Veon Bell. Cardinals take down the Dingoes 77.5-59.5 to move to 8-2. Jeremy Langford had 21.5 points. Really hoping Matt Forte is not back this week. The Dingoes had 15.5 points from Rodgers. Todd Gurley had his worst game of the year, a little surprisingly against the Bears, as the Dingoes were not able to keep up this week. And finally, we had the Garbage Men taking down the Gargoyles, more or less ending the Gargoyles season, 55.5-50.5. Jordan Reed had 2 touchdowns for them, only 20 yards beyond that. Gargoyles doesn't look like they'll be able to move on as also an injury to Sam Bradford there hurt him as Ben Roethlisberger came in off the bench and had a huge week. Odell Beckham had 12 points, but the Garbage Men only had a half point out of their quarterback as it looks like it is the end of the line for Peyton Manning. So kind of a surprising week. The playoff picture is kind of shaping up. There's really not a whole lot of drama left. We'll take a look at it in more detail here in a little bit, but it's kind of cut and dry, it's looking like, except for maybe one spot as we finish up here. Player of the week, there was a couple guys. Kirk Cousins actually had the best week, 23 points, but no one started him. Then a couple guys at 21.5 points. But I was going to go with the most surprising guy, which was Jeremy Langford. Antonio Brown, most people expect would have about 21.5 points. But Jeremy Langford completely out of the blue, especially against a good Rams defense. 2 touchdowns, 182 total yards, 73-yard touchdown helps, or 83-yard touchdown, I believe, on that screen pass. But he's definitely looked like a future, probably second-round pick next year, as long as he's the starter for the Bears. Definitely surprising. The walk of shame this week, and not to beat a dead horse, but during their 4-game losing streak, Team LBM has failed to score 47 points in 3 of those games. There was a 30, there was a 28, and there was a 46.5. He did have one good week in there, but no Andrew Luck now for the next couple weeks. No Joseph Randle, he's out of the league. No Brandon Cooks as he was traded. No Golden Tate as he was traded. And the guy he was traded for, Des Bryant, has not had Tony Romo, so he is just a excellent receiver with a terrible quarterback. Romo should be back this week, so maybe he'll be able to turn it around and be able to win a couple games. And I know your big mission, Chad, is to beat Griff, so you got that coming up, so maybe you can pull that out and salvage a season. Now on to the top free agent target this week, the Yo-Bitch free agent pickup. It's Doug Baldwin. 7 catches, 134 yards, and 1 touchdown. Not that he's excellent, but he's a pretty good receiver, and he's still out there. Not a lot of injuries this week. Edelman was the big one. Bradford, but that's not really too big. So yeah, kind of a minor injury week for the year that it's been. Now let's take a look at the playoff picture. One of our last things this week. Top 3 seeds right now, the 3 division leaders. Myself at 8-2, the Bone Storm at 7-3, and Team Price is Right at 6-4. Battle for the top seed. So it'll be close. Most of the divisions, I mean, the Team Price is Right and the Bruisers are in a close one. They're both 6-4, but Team Price is Right does have more points. Last 4 weeks have really helped as his team has been on fire, as he was struggling with points earlier. Also this week, then we look at the wild card. The Badgers, the Garbage Men, and the Bruisers are all 6-4. Thanks, guys, for just making a ton of noise today. Good work, knuckleheads. They all right now are the wild cards, and it's just a matter of points as to who is 4, 5, and 6. Horn Dogs are right now probably the most likely team to knock one of them out. They're 5-5 and quite a bit of points. They're definitely behind the Garbage Men in points. So it'll be close there. Black Dingoes and Kongs are holding on by a thread. But never know, if they win out, there's a chance they could still get in the playoffs. But probably one more loss and they're out. Finally, top games next week. Bone Storm take on the Badgers. This is the battle for the Central Division and the number 2 seed. Badgers would need to win and then continue to outscore the Bone Storm. Bone Storm win pretty much locks up the division. Also, I know the Horn Dogs take on the Garbage Men, which will be in a big game there for the wild card. Remember to follow me on Twitter. Check out the Runner Sports for any articles that you'd like to read. Pretty good selection of all the teams. But yeah, check it out. Best of luck to everyone except you, DK. Sorry to smash. Hopefully your playoff hopes this week. I want to make sure I get that bye in the first round. So good luck to everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.